Yeah, and it says we're live,
It says
so
we're live.
we decided to just pop in like this. Thank you guys for waiting. I hope you guys can hear me. Yeah, just give us a thumbs up if you can hear us okay. I'm just getting my stuff together as usual. I got my 11 billion tabs open. So, hi, Jen. Thank you for being here.
Of course, I can't think of anywhere I'd rather be.
That sounds sarcastic.
It's not. It's not. I need to take a. I've been watching The Handmaid's Tale. I just started it, and I'm totally friggin' sucked in. And okay, all I've done today is take a shower and brush my teeth and watch Handmaid's Tale. That's literally all that I've done.
Well, that
It's
sounds
bad.
good.
It's
Yeah.
bad.
I've been drowning in paperwork all day,
Mm.
preparing for this live tonight, and there's going to be a lot of information. Yeah, 1 second.
Okay.
There's going to
I'm
be a lot of
excited.
information. So I really want to make sure that I take my time going through this information because no one has evidently covered this case in depth because, as you're aware, and as my mind is literally blown that in the last couple of days, the video where I reviewed the case already has like 17,000 views almost.
That's
So
amazing.
so it just baffles my mind that in a lot of the comments, a lot of people said that they'd never heard about this case at all and that it's been underreported. So I was just shocked, and that's why I figured it would be.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
They've never heard about Kurt Cobain?
No.
What did they think? That Nirvana just ceased to be? And Dave
No,
Grohl
I'm
just
talking about the Silva case.
Oh.
Girl,
Okay.
come
Sorry.
on.
You know what? I didn't hear about it either. I'm one of those peeps. Until we started talking about it. I didn't know about it.
Well, no, neither did I until I started looking.
Yeah.
I love court documents and our public records. So yeah, I was just kind of like, wait a minute. Back the milk truck up.
Back that thing all the way up.
Right. Of course, nothing is working right now, so I'm just going to do with plan B. So here we go.
Okie doke.
Yeah, there's a plan B, unfortunately.
There should always be a plan B.
Oh, all right. Let me take us off. So, Jen, if I'm going to be reading.
Okay.
A lot.
Okay.
So if you, I won't be able to see chat. I'll check in every once in a while. But yeah, if there's anything, just holler. You'll be my eyes, basically.
Oh, good. All right. Well, you get started and I'll monitor chat and let you know if there's any questions.
Well, thank you so very much. Okay.
You're welcome.
All right, great. So let's see. So just a quick recap. In the previous video, I went over the lawsuit that was initiated by Isiah Silva, who is Frances Bean's ex-husband. And the dispute was kind of surrounding this guitar that Frances Bean gave Isiah as a gift, kind of like a welcoming into the family, because I thought it was actually very sweet. Frances said that it's kind of getting to know her dad, even though he's not there. So I thought it was very sweet and very sentimental. So, but that's just my opinion. So after this guitar, actually, let me back the truck up. In 2010, when Courtney Love lost rights to the Cobain estate to her daughter, Frances then moved to California And that's when she met Isiah. Now, when she started living with Isiah, Courtney, like, almost immediately moved to California conveniently as well, and got a place just down the street from where her daughter was now living. So they're arguing over this guitar and this case, and essentially what it came down to is Isiah is alleging that Courtney Love conspired with several other people, one of the main ones being Sam Lutfi, to kidnap, rob, and essentially murder Silva, so that they can basically get him out of the way, get the guitar back, and just not have any worries with him in terms of asking for spousal support or whatever the case may be. So that was the plan. The plan didn't work because actually one of Isiah's friends was at his house the night when Lutfi and several others broke into the house and proceeded to take Isiah hostage and try to attempt to kidnap him by putting him in a car and basically threatening him with paperwork that he has to sign, turn over the guitar, and just go back and listen to the whole complaint if you want to hear it. So now I want to catch you up on the case. And before we get any further, I want to just put a warning out here. I will be playing audio that is relevant to the case. That's probably going to be disturbing to hear, so just a fair warning. If you are sensitive to cuss words or whatever, you might be better off putting earbuds in or something. But yeah, so the case of Isiah Silva versus Love and the rest of them. So we read the complaint, and basically what happened immediately afterwards, once the complaint was filed, shortly afterwards, Courtney Love sought a protection order from Sam Lutfi. Now imagine that. And Sam Lutfi is her so-called Rottweiler. And this is a guy who Silva alleges is, does Courtney's dirty work. And he's been around the block a few times. So, and this image I found on Courtney Love's, I believe her Instagram page or her Twitter page, one of the two. And I just thought it was just, it speaks for itself. So, all right. So in terms of the case, a lot of I've seen a lot of comments saying that, this case is closed and it's been disproven. Isiah Silva hasn't been showing up to court. He's a liar. He's this and that. And I just want to just dispel that right now, because there are actually 3 dates set. The first date is in November 5th of 2021. That's in a couple of months. And then for a status conference. So basically, this is going to be in front of a new judge. And the status conference basically means they're going to all get together and kind of bring the judge up to date as to what has been going on in the case. So basically, I'm not a legal person. I'm not good at that. I'm just a sleuth. Okay, so we're putting this together with all of our true crime knowledge and experience. So, but basically, yes, the status conference will be bringing the judge up to date. And obviously the judge will be reading the entire case file and the entire complaint before the status conference. And then they're going to decide what's next. And whatever they decide, the next scheduled date would be April 25th of 2020, which would be so these are just the last 2 dates don't really matter, because in November they're going to be setting further dates, so on and so forth. But basically, the case is still open, and there are future hearings already scheduled and on the court's calendar. So I would say, as of right now, what's going on in the case is pretty much, it's still wide open. I mean, it's far, far from being over. So, and just a reminder, these are the defendants. Okay, now I'm checking into chat just because.
I'm watching, babe.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull, my computer's being a jerk.
All right, so let's keep going. All right. Okay, so yes, shortly after that, she asked for a protective order against Lutfi. And that order was actually granted in January of 2019. So not only is Lutfi her co-defendant, but from the complaint, it was evident that, they seem to be very close, Lutfi and Courtney Love. And, it's just odd that she's now requesting a protective order because she's claiming that she's being harassed. And then after the restraining order was granted, she then obtained an attorney to represent her in this civil case, while Mark Gaines, the co-defendant, and also he's an attorney for Courtney Love, he then represents basically himself, Jan Yuckman, Butler, and Lutfi. So this guy is representing the rest of the co-defendants. And then Courtney Love, because she's now beefing with Lutfi and she has a protective order against him, she can't be part of the same team. So she has her own legal team. But when you compare the documents that are filed in the court, you will see that, a lot of the wording in the declarations and in the filings that are filed on behalf of Courtney Love and separately on behalf of the other defendants, you realize that, it's a lot of just copying and pasting, and not just the legal text, because I realize that is something that happens in law, but the actual narrative portion and some of the adjectives used, like, for example, well, we'll actually look at some of those examples later. So I just wanted you to get a picture of who's representing whom. So now, as of today, Courtney has kind of separated herself from the rest of the gang, and defendant Mark Gaines and his offices are kind of a buy one get for free deal. And Mr. John Nazarian, on December 30th, 2019, Silva filed a request for dismissal against defendant John Nazarian. So I'm not sure, what the circumstances of that particular dismissal were, but nonetheless, he's now out of the game. So then, with Nazarian out of the way, Courtney Love is vehemently denying everything that is claimed in the complaint. She claims that it's ridiculous, it's absurd, that her reputation is being harmed, that Silva is harassing her. So, absolute denial. Now, the next phase of the pre-trial, at least, was the discovery. So now both parties are subject to, or they have the right to discovery, meaning they have the right to gather their evidence without anyone interfering or trying to stop them from gathering evidence. That means that they can call each of the accusers, or the plaintiff can call the defendants to be deposed and questioned as to the allegations and the truthfulness of matter, and that would be, under oath. So if you lie in a deposition, as our friend Apostle will tell you, you gotta ask Michelle. Because if you lie, you can, get caught up in some perjury charges. But I'm sure that a couple of perjury charges are not going to be a concern for any of these people, as we'll see. So, as part of the discovery, Courtney Love and her attorneys, and also Mark Gaines and Jan Yuckman and Lutfi and Mr. Butler, they all want to question Silva. They want to depose him. Now, I don't know about you, but it kind of seems counterintuitive to if you're alleging that these people conspired to kidnap you and murder you, that now you have to, by law, sit with those same attackers and abusers in a non-secure place. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Do you hear what I'm saying, Jen? Am I making sense? Jen's gone.
No, I'm not. I'm right here. Yes, I hear exactly what you're saying, and yes, it is making sense.
Yeah, if I start over explaining,
Alice, she was acting a fool. I'm sorry, I had to mute.
Oh no, yeah. If I start over explaining, I'm sorry, but yeah, it's a lot of information. So, okay, but the attorney for Silva, they responded to Courtney Love's. She basically filed a bunch of motions to compel the plaintiff to appear at his deposition. And they're saying, he's not even showing up to his deposition. He's a liar, this, that, and the other. And sure, I've actually seen a couple of comments under my last video that would use this argument. That kind of makes me chuckle because, some of the language that was used is literally what sounds like a lot of these statements that were drafted by Courtney Love's attorneys. So I thought it was cute, but nevertheless, it was for nothing, basically, because it's not based in fact. Because not only did Silva, quote unquote, he was willing to show up for the deposition, but his attorney has specifically asked numerous times and has attempted numerous times to organize a deposition with the defendants and negotiate it without an intervention of the court, basically. And they asked for an order of protection against the defendants for Silva because they were at the time defending themselves. So that was where that was at. Basically, they were trying to get the deposition going, but because the defendants were also the aggressors and the attackers who threatened not only, Silva, but his family and his family's lives, I would be apprehensive too, to put myself in a situation where I would be questioned by 4 out of 4 attackers of mine. I mean, that sounds, and then of course, as they were trying to set this up, and Silva's attorney also has the exhibits attached with his filings. So if you need to see the case files or whatever, I'm going to be uploading them as well on my website too, so you can read this for yourself. But Silva's attorney actually responded and thoroughly documented each time he reached out to each of the defendants trying to arrange a deposition. Thoroughly, he even provided a declaration, a statement, under oath, that he did attempt to reach them and they refused to cooperate. And they even went as far as Silva's psychologist writing a note saying, hey, I don't think this is a good idea. As a matter of fact, here's an excerpt of that letter. And it reads, I strongly advise that Mr. Silva not be placed in a situation where he will be re-traumatized by the same individuals who are allegedly involved in this kidnapping. If they're the individuals responsible for the injury, re-examination, and direct physical confrontation of his comments and statements. That was like the completely wrong paragraph. But yes, I will pull that up. But the psychologist in this case said, I highly go against that.
Hey,
all
Natasha.
Right. Yes.
So, oh crap. Wednesday's Angel wants to know, does that mean restraining order?
Order of protection? Yes.
Yes. That's, I mean, that's what I thought, but she wanted to know, so I just wanted you to answer that.
Yeah. So Molly Jones says all this fighting over a guitar and they decide to sell it. Well, before you jump to a conclusion, just hear the whole story first, okay? Because the thing with the guitar is the guitar was gifted to Isiah Silva. And the way that he was attacked for this guitar after he was given it, and in order for him to even have the guitar in his possession, he needed, or in order for it to be taken out of storage, both Courtney Love and Frances Bean needed to agree for it to be taken out. So both of them needed to give consent. So that's the first thing that a judge is going to look at. Like, you gave consent. Both of you took this thing out of storage and you gave this to this guy. There's no reason, and secondly, Frances Bean never asked for that guitar back. It was Courtney Love who, according to the complaint, was the one who became obsessed with this guitar. So that all this fighting because of silly guitar is I don't give it much thought, because like I said, number one, it was consensual. These are adults. We're not in kindergarten where you have a fight and then you decide to, hey, I want my Barbie back that I gave you 10 years ago. Yeah, it has sentimental value, and that was the whole point of the exchange. And mind you, Courtney Love herself has a long history of giving things away that, she later regrets and tries to allegedly extort from people.
Oh, so allegedly she's an Indian giver?
I don't know what that means.
It means, so it's a saying for children. Like, you give something to somebody and then you immediately regret it and want it back.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say that, I haven't done that a couple of times when I was, a kid, like, hence the Barbie reference, because that was the last time I did something like that. Like, give me my Pocahontas, however you say that.
Pocahontas. I never played Barbies. I wasn't a Barbie girl.
Well, I like them just because I like the body parts.
Figures.
Yeah.
I just never played with them for whatever reason. I just wasn't into Barbies.
Yeah, I liked to what is it? Not dissect them, because you can't dissect plastic, but like disassemble
Dismember?
them. Yeah, dismember. There you go.
You're over here talking about disassemble. I'm like, you dismembered those Barbies. Yes, she did.
Yes. Where was I? Oh yeah, the guitar. Right. So it was a gift, number one. And number two, the courts in 2019, the courts are what's the word? Siding with Silva, and the guitar belonged, like they sided with Silva, so the guitar was given to him. And eventually the guitar was auctioned off, and it stated that it was someone anonymous, but it was them. It was Silva, because it was his guitar. So, and I don't blame them, because just look at this.
Hold on, let me just say something really quick.
Mm-hmm.
It's a child's saying, none your business. I'm not trying to appropriate anything. It's what kids say. Calm down.
Oh, brother. Oh, Samantha buried her Barbies. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So, did we take our chill pills? Did people miss the warning from warning? Like, all right, let's go back. Yes, so the guitar was awarded to Silva. They put it up for auction, and I don't blame them one bit, because if you really take the time to go through this entire debacle of a lawsuit, of a back and forth, it is the biggest waste of time and money. And this is Courtney's strategy. It is evident. It is evident with anyone who has eyes. If you take the time and you go look through the entire register of actions, and you look at how the back and forth kept going from year in, year out, year in, year out. Then we have COVID. And now on top of COVID, they can't depose person in person, but because of COVID. But then they file 11 billion unnecessary motions just so that they would suck Isiah's pockets dry, basically. Do you see what I mean? It's a game. Okay, none your business. Get her out of here, please. I can't deal with this shit right now. Bye. Jesus. Okay. So you're bringing this whole legal debate. To me, it seems, at least, just in an effort to suck them dry financially, so that basically they just give up, and they end up settling in the end, which is another pattern that is familiar to Miss Courtney. And the other thing that stuck out to me is that she has filed several times this disqualification of a judge. So now, again, this is from 2018 to this point. This is now the third judge presiding over this case. Number three, 1, 2, 3, third judge. For what reason? I haven't downloaded all of those documents, because, quite frankly, I was getting the ones that I thought were most important, because they're pricey when you start buying all of these things. And like I said, with all these motions and bullshit that really, it didn't even make any sense. It was clear that was the point of that. She lawyered up, and this is legal harassment, legal bullying, in my opinion. So, do I blame Silva for auctioning off the guitar? Hell no. No. But can you imagine the legal fees? Like, do you think that he profited from the guitar? I highly doubt it. And another thing that I highly doubt is that even if he, had millions of more, that going up against Courtney, especially with Frances on her side, it's an uphill battle. And Courtney has her Rottweilers and all her little PIs and her, Hollywood buddies that she rubs shoulders with and exchanges minors with. Not sorry for saying that, actually. She has unlimited access to funds, and she has support, and that's how people get away with it. That's how people get away with whatever, and we'll see more of this later. I'm turning this into a whole commentary instead of just keeping it to the point. So I'm going to take a break now to discuss so far what we're hearing, and I want to hear some of your thoughts too. What do you think, Jen?
I mean, what was he supposed to do? They're suing him. Does he have that kind of money? So even if he did, like you said, auction off
he's
the
suing
guitar,
them. He's suing
right,
them.
but he's suing them. But you have to, that costs money.
Well, of
At
course.
least, I mean, obviously you can take stuff like this on contingency, but even still.
Yeah. So
I think this whole thing is much ado about with Courtney suffers, in my opinion. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, but she suffers from rage and regret.
Yeah.
She rages and she lashes out and she acts a fool, and then she has regret.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that she regrets it. I think it's all calculated.
No, you know what I'm saying. Not like actual, I feel bad for what it is that I just did, but
yeah, she might regret how it turned out.
Exactly. That's what I mean. And then she tries to reel it back. I mean, like you said, obviously both Courtney and Frances Bean had to give permission for that guitar to be taken out of storage. And so what's the fuss, Gus?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's keep going because we have a whole other lawsuit to go through. So the last hearing was held on April 8th. Isiah Silva did not show. His lawyers have withdrawn due to whatever the legal term is, irreparable, what is it called? Attorney-client relationship. Thank you. And I don't know the details surrounding that. I quite frankly haven't dug that deep yet, but it really doesn't matter at this point. What the facts of the matter are is that currently Silva is not represented by anyone. So basically he's standing in front of Courtney and her Rottweilers as pro se, meaning he's defending himself. And basically, if he doesn't appear at his next hearing, this case might be dismissed. So I don't know what's going on with Silva, but whatever it is, man, if you need help, reach out to our channel. We're gonna figure this out, but we need to see this case through because it has been too long. It has been too long. So that's my, public call for action. Like if you need help with any sort of legal stuff, whatever, we're not legal people, but
we know where you can get a 35C real cheap. No Groupon needed.
Oh, Jen, I love you.
I love you too.
Yes, we look at Allie. This is what I'm talking about. This is my girl. She says, I say we all go on his behalf. I am down to ride. I am down to ride. Look, what's better than a November in California? Come on now. I'm down for
November.
that.
I would do November in California.
I
It's
would
not.
do November in California. I definitely wouldn't do November in freaking, where am I? Chicago.
No, you would no. No. And I've been trying to get you out here to Florida, and I think
I
we
would
should
rather, I would
think
prefer California
me
for
too.
Florida.
I would prefer California as well, but I don't live there. Okay. Better
Yes.
so
Okay, guys. Well, hey, look, this is not an impulsive thing. We got plenty of time till November, so I'm gonna make
exactly.
it my thing. I'm gonna be in front of that. Well, I'm gonna be there. Whoop, whoop.
I want us to go around
Mary
and
Lopez is
interview.
driving the bus.
Oh, good. Good. We need a ride. Neither Natasha and neither one of us should really be driving. We're a little too aggressive.
Hey, I was actually look. I actually was in Los Angeles a couple of years ago, and I was interviewing for a job. And I did drive down whatever those boulevards are, and I did pass. I haven't seen so many like Scientology things like ever. I don't think I've ever seen a Scientology building until I came to LA. Then they were like on every corner.
I'll take you by. We got them down here in downtown Clearwater. Maybe we can snag one of them and interview them.
Yeah.
See what it's about. Watch us be roped into joining and signing a $1 billion contract.
$1 billion.
That's literally it. It's a $1 billion contract.
Oh my God.
I would look. I'm not settling for nothing less than 11 billion. If your contract doesn't read 11 billion, I'm out. That's a real number.
It is, according to our science.
Exactly.
Wow, I am so, like, look, Allie 79, you don't even know. She just completely like sparked my what are they called? You know, in your head. Whew.
No. No, the whole county isn't owned. This is not the place for this conversation, but I mean, yeah, they own a city block down there. That is true. They do own a city block. They've got the Fort Harrison Hotel, and then there's little like motels all along that they own. They own a few buildings down there, but they don't own the whole city of Clearwater. No, they tried, they were denied.
Yeah. Well, Mama Bear just was kind enough to remind me how many times I got pulled over driving to Colorado when we went for the Chris Watts case.
I wasn't going to say that. That's why I left it at.
Well, let's just say
you were in a hurry. It is what it is. It's a long drive, and sometimes you just want to get there already.
Yeah. Ooh, Cat 73 said, oh, wait a minute. Wrong one. Sorry, Cat. Tammy says, who's a good lawyer for Silva and Kurt? I like that. It kind of is. It kind of would be in a symbolic way, would be representing Kurt as well. And just because her lawyers and this Lutfi character and all of them are playing dirty, they're playing dirty legal games. They're playing dirty legal strategies. So I would say the perfect defense for Silva would be someone who is just as aggressive and who doesn't mind dedicating his time and effort into this and his resources into this case. So it's all a matter of either money, or you get a team together who pro bono lawyers who would volunteer to help Silva out in this case and take it on pro bono and just tear it apart, because this would be a historic case.
Yeah, it would.
It would be a historic case. This is an opportunity that Tom Grant has been praying for 27 years. He's begged her to sue him. And he's called her a murderer straight up, and she hasn't sued him because she does not want to be subject to the plaintiff's right to discovery and the plaintiff's right to challenge her. So she has dodged that bullet for a very long time. And so, yes, I believe this case it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for history to happen, because I don't know why my Siri just went off.
Because the FBI is listening. Cheese it. It's the fuzz.
Yeah. All right. So let me stop rambling and get on to the next case. All right. So this is, let's see. This is Francis Bean, Isiah, his kid, and this is Jennifer. And Jennifer reminds me of kid. And Jennifer is Isiah's ex, and they have a child together. And Isiah, let's just get to this complaint. So about a couple of weeks after Isiah filed his suit, his ex followed up and also filed a suit against Courtney Love. And I'm going to read that now. Okay. So on June 4th, plaintiff Jessica D. Sullivan, who is the mother of Isiah Silva's daughter, Arlo, filed suit for damages and demand for jury trial for the following offenses: criminal conspiracy, bribery, dissuading a witness, solicitation of perjury, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and stalking. Actually, I'm going to share my screen too so you can read along, because it might take a while. Okay. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Is that better? Is that okay?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Good. All right. Now, the defendants in this case are Courtney Love and Lutfi. And the general allegations as to all causes of action: Sullivan and Silva are childhood friends who began a dating relationship in 2006. In 2008, Jessica gave birth to the couple's only child, Arlo. After ending their dating relationship in late 2008, Jessica and Silva entered into an informal shared custody arrangement for Arlo. At the time of the events contained within this complaint, Arlo was 7 years old. Silva met Francis on January 8th, 2010, and began dating soon thereafter. During Silva and Francis's relationship, Jessica resided in Orange County near Silva's family residence. Francis would accompany Silva during the routine custodial exchanges of Arlo. This required that Silva and Francis commute weekly from their residence in West Hollywood to Silva's residence in Orange County to pick Arlo up. Due to the length of the commute, Francis and Silva would sometimes stay overnight at Silva's mother's house. After some time, Francis confided in Silva's mother that the weekly routine was not sitting well with her and was wary of the weekly custodial exchanges. She told Mary, who's Silva's mother, it made her feel like Silva wasn't fully committed to the life and home the couple had built together in West Hollywood. Francis asked Mary to support her as she tried to motivate Silva to relocate his Orange County-based obligations closer to the couple's home in West Hollywood. In December of 2014, Francis and Silva moved Jessica and Arlo to a house in West Hollywood. Arlo was enrolled at Francis's former private school. Arlo was an integral part of Francis's life since Arlo was 2 years old. Francis often referred to Arlo as her daughter. As a consequence of her relationship with Arlo, Frances and Jessica developed a close relationship. After living together for nearly 3 years, Silva and Frances were married on June 29, 2014. Prior to the marriage, Frances gave Silva the guitar. Both Silva and Frances shared their thoughts with Jessica about the guitar. Following a failed criminal attempt to repossess the guitar on June 3, 2016, the ownership of the guitar first surfaced as a major point of dispute in the Cobain versus Silva dissolution case. In June 2016, Lutfi and Love sought out these witnesses to include Jessica and attempted to bribe them with money and professional favors in exchange for their silence and or false statements in support of Cobain's claim that the guitar was not given to Silva as a gift in January of 2014. So, June 4th, Lutfi texted Jessica, identified himself, and told her he would be calling her. Minutes later, Jessica received a phone call from Lutfi, who told her he was given her number by Frances. Lutfi's demeanor during this call was calm and friendly. Lutfi told Jessica that he, Love, and Frances would financially take care of her and Arlo if she agreed to meet with him to talk about what she needed to say and do as it related to the Cobain versus Silva dissolution case. Lutfi promised Sullivan that if she said what he told her to say, he would see to it that she and Arlo were provided for. Jessica, who's Sullivan, Jessica, was aware of what had transpired between Lutfi and Silva one day earlier, and she declined his offer. On June 5th, Lutfi contacted Jessica again and attempted to bribe her. He said, "Do you have any idea what type of people you're dealing against? Are you stupid? Be her friend right now. Sign with her. You want a future? She's got money to effing take care of you and your wife and your child till the day you die." Lutfi also asked Jessica, "You think this is a smart choice to fight against her? Or come join us?" Jessica rejected the bribes and told him, "You want to know who I'm siding with? The truth, honesty, that's who I'm siding with." Lutfi responded by making a series of outrages and false accusations against Silva in an effort to turn Jessica against him. This tactic also proved to be ineffective with Jessica. Not long after concluding her call with Lutfi, also on June 5th, Jessica received a menacing text message from Courtney Love. In the message, Courtney wrote that she had a daughter to protect. So she wrote, "I have a daughter to protect." Love went on to confirm what Lutfi had communicated during his earlier conversations with Jessica. Specifically, Love confirmed that Frances had been prepared to take care of Jessica and Arlo, but because Jessica was siding with Silva, she was inviting adverse consequences, stating, quote, "You should be smarter than this, but sounds like you're inviting this onto yourself," end quote. As with other witnesses who did not accept the bribes, Lutfi and Love subjected Jessica to a sustained campaign of threats and harassment, threatened Jessica, her family, and her friends with falsified criminal charges, damage to their careers or employment, civil lawsuits, financial ruin, and or bodily harm. Lutfi and Love's threats were intended to intimidate, dissuade, and silence witnesses who were helpful to Silva and corroborated with his claims regarding ownership of the 1959 Martin guitar. Toward the end, Lutfi and Love relentlessly stalked Jessica and barraged her with phone calls and text messages beginning with June 5th, continuing until mid-July 2016. During this time, Lutfi harassed Jessica with calls and messages nearly every day. On some days, he would call and text in excess of 40 times. Beginning June 5th, Jessica was also placed under surveillance by Lutfi and Love. Jessica's residence was watched by people in parked cars, and she was followed when she left the house. Unidentified subjects would pound loudly on Jessica's front door between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., When Jessica wouldn't find anyone at the door, she would receive calls from Lutfi saying that he was watching her and he knows what she's wearing and knows who's at her house, etc. Concurrent with their efforts to intimidate, dissuade, and silence Jessica through direct threats, stalking, surveillance, and incessant calls and texts, Lutfi and Love engaged in harassment, intended to wear down Jessica's resolve and drive a wedge between her and Silva. As an example, Lutfi and Love used Jessica's phone number to create an advertisement in the free section on Craigslist and posted a picture of Arlo's puppy. Jessica's phone started blowing up with random inquiries about a free puppy. Now that's cruel. Like, that's just messed up.
That's really doing the most. Wow.
Recognizing the danger she was in, especially living in close proximity to Lutfi and Love, fearing for her safety and that of her 7-year-old, they ended up moving to back to Orange County. So again, another pattern, another kind of familiar, it's all familiar sounding. So for this case, and this case is also related to Silva's case, obviously. So I predict that, at the next hearing, they're probably going to call for the cases to be joined, if you know what I mean, to be heard together. Okay. So this is kind of what I already went over. So as of right now, Jessica and Silva, I call him Silva. I prefer that over Isiah. I hope he doesn't mind. Are representing themselves. Courtney and Gaines plan to move to consolidate the cases to be heard together. So, and that's up to the judge. And the third thing is, like, the only thing that we can do is to rally around and support Silva and Jessica in this case. So if that means going down to Los Angeles in November to be there, then so be it. Okay, so the next thing I want to go over is Courtney Love's criminal history. But before I do, let me check in with chat. What do you think, Jen? I need to grab a drink real quick, so I'm going to mute myself for a second.
Well, I mean, this is obviously a pattern of behavior with Courtney and, the people she surrounds herself with, that, if money doesn't work, if they can't get people to do what they want by bribing them, then the next best course of action in their playbook is, threats. And I mean, the fact that they used her phone number to make an ad on Craigslist for a puppy is just petty, especially given the fact that, with the internet and everything, like you guys know, people can use your phone number and find your address, right? So it's not that far of a leap to be worried that some, crazy person is going to find her address and she's got a kid there. That's messed up.
Yeah, thank you, Tiffy MF Art. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. But yeah, Jen, I mean, who does that? Puts a puppy, like a 7-year-old puppy on Craigslist in order to intimidate someone. I mean, that's just cruel.
It's petty and cruel and dangerous. Like I said, people are they come in all shapes and sizes, right? And in varying levels of mental health. And Craigslist is that what it's Craigslist, right? That's what they put it on?
Yeah.
I mean, Craigslist is accessible to anybody and everybody. You don't even have to live there to look at different cities' Craigslist, right? So it's dangerous, you know, for them to have done that, especially since she has a child there, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And here's another thing that I want to say. Well, I'm actually looking for the audio clips that I want to play now because the calls that are described in the affidavit or in the complaint, I do have some of them, so I'm gonna play them.
Okay.
And this is what I was warning you about, basically. And it really is disturbing. So I actually only like listened to them once because I really like can't. It's disgusting. So so brace yourselves. But I think it's very important that we do hear them because, you know, like you can't deny this. You can't deny that this is happening.
Thank you,
So,
Mary Lopez. Thank you so much.
oh, sorry, I'm not looking.
I know, but I am. That's why you asked me to
Thank
do
you.
that.
Thank you. All right. I'm just getting all of the clips in here.
Molly Jones, you were surprised to hear that about Sid's mom? I thought everybody kind of knew that. Like she was a super young mom, and it's kind of that's an interesting story about how she ended up being on heroin. The truth of the matter is, back in the day where she lived, you could get a voucher if you were a heroin addict. So she claimed to be a heroin addict and she got a housing voucher for it. And where do they put, I mean, where do you suppose they put her up at? In a flat with a bunch of other heroin addicts in the building, and that's how she started using. And she did whatever she had to do to make ends meet. She even sold drugs. And Sid was exposed to a lot of stuff real young. So I wasn't surprised that of the events that happened on the night that he died.
Oh, I'm muted. Thank you, ma'am. Oh, lawyer funds for Silva or bus rental. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna play the first clip. Brace yourselves.
What have I ever done to Francis? What have I ever done to Francis?
What have you ever done to Francis?
Yeah.
You're stabbing her in the back. You think you're fucking smart? You think that this is going to work for you? You have any idea what type of people you're dealing with?
Do you hear it?
Are you stupid? Be her friend right now.
Yeah, babe, we can hear it.
You want to be sure she's got money to fucking take care of you and your wife and your child to the day you die.
I don't want anyone to take care of me and my girlfriend and my daughter.
Okay, I'm gonna play that again because for some reason it's muted for me. I don't know how that works. So I'll play that again and then I'll just move on to the next clip.
Okay.
What have I ever done to Francis? What have I ever done to Francis?
What have you ever done to Francis?
Yeah.
You're stabbing her in the back. You think you're fucking smart? You think that this is going to work for you? You have any idea what type of people you're dealing against? Are you stupid? Be her friend right now. Side with her. You want a future? She's got money to fucking take care of you and your wife and your child to the day you die.
I don't want anyone to take care of me and my girlfriend and my daughter.
That's Lutfi and Jessica, right? Jessica Silva. Is that her last name? Silva's ex. Yeah. That's
Sullivan. Yeah, Jessica Sullivan.
Sullivan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, here's the next one.
Okay, now we can't hear that one.
Wait, you couldn't hear that one? Oh,
Yeah, we
that's
couldn't
probably
hear that one.
that's probably because I didn't share the stupid audio. I always forget that. All right, now I got it, I think.
Okay.
All right.
You dyke fucking bitch, whore fuck. You are fucking in the streets. I don't scare you. Don't worry about me. My lawyers and the police are after you. So fuck you, you fucking dirty kite.
Oh wow, homophobic slurs and everything. What a peach.
Your kid will be in an orphanage. I'm going to put you away. I'm going to put your fucking little boyfriend away. Laugh all you want. I swear to God, you fucking dirty whore. You're going to be in the streets where you belong. I swear to God.
They just keep getting better, right?
I mean, wow.
And here's a last one. Was that 2 or 3 that I played?
That was the third.
Oh, so here's number 4.
Uh-huh.
I always
Then just be smart. You want
I am
to
smart. You want to know what? Hey, Sam, you want to know? You want to know who I'm siding with? The truth, honesty. That's what I'm siding with.
You want to know the truth? You want to know the truth?
I already know the truth.
I bugged your ex's house 12 months ago.
Good.
That's how Francis got out. Okay?
Cool.
The truth is, everything that was bugged for the first 9 months was not legal to use in court.
So we need to submit this to Scott Reich's dumbest criminal of the week, because like he literally just laid it out. And I want you to remember, please keep in mind this wiretapping and surveillance that Sam Lutfi just mentioned, because this is going to come up in just a little bit. So remember what he said, that he bugged the house as soon as 9 months ago, and that's how Francis got away. Okay, that's what he said. So keep it in mind, and let's listen to the last one. Thank God, because this is getting me raging. Whoo, Lord have mercy.
Remember to share the audio.
Yes, last one. Yeah, so that was the last one.
Yeah, you didn't share the audio again, babe. I said right before you went away. Don't forget to share the audio.
I did. Oh my God.
None of us heard it.
Share audio. Here we go. Add. Remove.
All Jesse wants is to sit down with Francis and so they can talk. They care about each other.
Francis is too unstable to handle this.
Exactly.
He signed over the authority to me.
So Francis is too unstable to handle this, right? So, y'all, I need you to listen to me. Like, I really need you to hear me out. He's saying that Francis is unstable to deal with this. So Courtney's got this all under wraps. Courtney and Sam and, you know, her little bulldogs, pit bulls, shih tzus, whatever. They're all going to handle this by wiretapping, by doing all this stuff. And if you recall in the previous complaint where I read over what Silva's claims were, there were some very, very concerning messages from Frances Bean wherein she describes almost dying of an overdose. And there's a clear as day, there's clear as day evidence that the drugs were supplied to Frances by Lutfi from Courtney Love via Lutfi. So this is a whole scheme, and Frances almost died of an overdose. Like Silva had to administer CPR. So this is all just too stinking much. It's like, it's too much of a coincidence for me, because first, Silva is all of a sudden suicidal when he doesn't have a history of anything like that has been made public in the courts, at least. I mean, he's had a stable job. He works with special needs children. He's worked there for 8 years. He sounds like a well-rounded, stable person. Whereas when you look at, defendants, it's like you heard it yourself. And those are the people right now that are basically, as the case stands right now, if Silva doesn't show up, they're going to dismiss this. This is a third judge.
He needs to show up.
This is ridiculous. So let's keep going, because this is just the tip of the iceberg. Okay. I'm telling y'all, this is going to be a long live. I'm going to have to condense it. I'm going to have to condense it and put it out in a video because it's a lot. So where is my presentation? Okay. Now I want to talk about Courtney Love's history a little bit. I'm gonna pull it up again on the screen, just because I feel like it's a little awkward, just our faces. Well, not our faces, you know what I mean. Okay, so let's just look at history, because in court, in any court proceeding, when a judge makes a decision, they have to take into account a person's history of criminal history, drug history. There are certain factors that judges take into consideration when deciding for whatever they're deciding, punishment, whatever the case may be. So, according to Tom Grant in Suicide or Murder, You Decide, he states, he lists the incomplete list of Courtney's criminal behavior, and then I've kind of added some additional stuff in there as well. So in September 1989, while her husband, James Moreland, was asleep in their Los Angeles apartment, Courtney set the mattress on fire. Luckily for Moreland, he awoke in time to put out the flames. December 1992, Courtney approached writer Victoria Clark in Los Angeles lounge and smashed a bar glass off her head, knocking her to the floor. Courtney then threw a cocktail table on top of Miss Clark before grabbing her by the hair and dragging her across the floor in an attempt to take her outside, presumably for a more thorough beating. Luckily for Clark, a bouncer intervened. And just to further demonstrate that case, I'm going to share a voicemail that Miss Courtney Love left for Victoria Clark. So give me 1 second. I just need to find this. Okay, I got it. That was quick. Okay, 1 second. Share audio. Don't forget to share the audio. All right.
That's the most important step.
Favorite messages for Victoria at the sound of the tone. Thank you. Hi, Victoria. It's Courtney. I'm just going to give you a little update about what's going on. This is real be like this at all. I mean, nobody was really offended by your outline or synopsis. It seemed really positive and actually not really stupid or dumb or anything. It seemed quite intelligent. And personally, I don't really think it's your fault. From what I understand about Britt's character, I think it's Britt's fault. But to take advantage of what Lynn Hirschberg did to me and the vile and sexist thing that she did is just lower than low. And
Unmute myself. Okay, so I just want to interrupt here for a second. She's talking about Lynn Hirschberg, who's a journalist or was for the Vanity Fair, and in 1992 she published an article called "Strange Love" that kind of looked at Kurt's and Courtney's lifestyles, and Courtney was pregnant at the time, and foolishly, she acted a fool. Courtney was being Courtney and talking about how she was shooting up drugs while she's pregnant. She's chain smoking, and, just being a very neglectful and hot mess person for someone who was pregnant. So, if basically once the article was published, there was a huge media storm that, has really scarred Courtney, and I think this was one of the events that I think started her resentment towards Kurt, because the whole kind of tone of the article was, this woman is a complete mess, and this almost delicate, soul who's trapped in this hell with her, and she's sucking the life out of him, basically, is how I read it in between the lines. And that really, really upset her. So I think that's when the seed of resentment and that nasty envy was born in her. But that's just, my psychobabble analysis.
And everybody thinks so. And the libel laws in Britain are much stronger and better than they are in America. Chris, Dave, Kurt, and I, Danny, Janet, Rosemary, Gary Ghosh, and John Silva, all of us will use every dollar that we have and every bit of our power to basically fuck you up, because you're horrible to do this. This is just horrible. Interviewing people about what abortions they've had, interviewing people about who I've slept with. What the fuck does that have to do with my rock band, Kurt's rock band? I've heard back a couple of things that you've said about me, like you'll see a picture of me and Kurt in a magazine and say, oh, I'm sure Courtney arranged that. It just shows how fucking little you know about what kind of a person I am, and you have no right to violate or rape mine and Kurt's relationship like this. It's just not fair, and it's not right. Lynn Hirschberg is a mainstream idiot writer who thinks she's cutting edge, and for you to fall into that trap and to follow, her party line because of Brit's jealousy, when people talk about you, Victoria, they don't. As I was saying, when people talk about you, they don't really have a lot of nasty things to say about you. It's more Brit. So I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. It's too bad that the suit that Dave Grohl is going to file, the sexual harassment suit. I know that sounds really pathetic, but we're just going to do everything we can. You told Charles Peterson, you've told Mills, you've told Debbie, and you've told Kim Warnick that you slept with Dave Grohl, and I was there, and Dave was there, and everyone else was there, and that's something that didn't happen. And so that's one of the suits that's going to be filed. Presenting yourself to Kurt's Aunt Judy as though you were his friend is pathetic, and she's going to file a misrepresentation suit. So is Dale Clover and Debbie Shane, you told them it was an authorized biography when it wasn't. Those are legal things. You can't use quotes of people that you told were authorized when it wasn't. We're taking out a full-page ad in the Rocket.
This is all on a voicemail. Can you imagine coming home
in the LA Weekly? Lead news story
to your
in
voicemail?
The Melody Maker lead news story.
And now you know this is old school because of digital voice message. Now they would have done cut her off of like 6 minutes ago. You would have had to call back at least 37 times to finish her rant.
Yeah. Well, after this, I'm gonna also play a voice message that Kurt Cobain left on this same person's voicemail, where, you know, he is threatening basically this woman, and it's all because of Courtney. And I'm not saying that to excuse it, because it's not, you know, like, it's not nice to threaten people and do all that kind of shit. But I'll let you be the judge of what state of mind Kurt sounds like he's in. And recall that this is also around the time when this article was released. So they were really, really, I mean, it was rough, I think, for both of them. And you know, mostly for Courtney, because I think at this point things felt like they were getting out of control for her. Like, she wasn't in control. So,
you know,
yeah,
it kind of always amazes me in a way. Like, I was thinking back, because I was, I don't know, like 15, 16, all this stuff was going on. And I remember reading these articles and stuff. And I remember Kurt and Courtney being compared to Sid and Nancy. And Courtney took it as a compliment, but it wasn't. It's an insult.
Right.
It was an insult.
Mm-hmm.
And poor Nancy, look, that girl had troubles. I mean, for real trouble. She was a paranoid schizophrenic. And, you know, she was born in a time where, and her parents did try to get her help. But there was only so much that they could do.
Mm-hmm.
But for her to be proud to be called, you know, oh, we're the new Sid and Nancy. It wasn't a compliment, Courtney. Mm-hmm. It was an insult to you.
Yeah.
Remind me again how Hole was doing before Kurt helped you out with your song.
Oh, don't say that. That's her worst. That gets her, like, trigger. That's her trigger.
You're obsessed, sexually obsessed fans of the band, and so on and so forth. Now, this sounds a little ugly to you as it does to me. Maybe you could get the picture by thinking about how we feel. I mean, you went and interviewed Lynn Hirschberg. You said you were going to Boston to interview Mary Lou Lord, somebody that Kurt never even slept with. Never even slept with her. Had an acquaintance with her for 4 days, trying to interview Billy Pumpkin. I dated him for 2 months. What the fuck does that have to do with my band, or Kurt's band, or your outline for that matter? You know, Kurt's just got a wild hair for us. It's an okay thing to violate my relationship. Not realizing that in the next 3 months, as I was saying, and MTV News is really excited about it because of the angle of the obsessed fan angle, which you guys have absolutely proven to be by taking this tack. I think you're disgusting. I think you're just scary. I have nothing to say. I mean, you want to, like, destroy my life because what? Because we got married and you're pissed off. I mean, what can I say? I'm not the kind of person that you think I am, and I know you know that, and you're just trying to what you think this is a trend. It's not a trend. I have the cover of Select this very month. I have the cover of the Melody Maker this very month, all positive, all fluff pieces. Me and Kurt are on the cover of Spin in less than 2 weeks, all positive, all saying what an asshole and an idiot Lynn Hirschberg is. I mean, you say he should have married a model, but he married me with a straight face. And if indeed you did interview her, and if indeed you did listen to her tapes, then you should be lucid and intelligent enough to understand that pretty much everything that she wrote that I said was twisted around and deranged in such a fashion as to make me look as though I lost my mind, as though I have no intellect at all. You know, for somebody that supposedly respects this band of Kurt's so very much, you know, it's pretty disgusting that you don't have any respect for me. And to think that I enjoy having my marriage be more important than my rock band is idiotic. When I told my nurse crew that I felt that Kurt had, like, you know, sort of fucked me up, I sincerely meant it. You know, I thought that this would happen anyway, but, you know, I married him anyway because he's who I love. And you can't...
Wait a minute. Did she just say, you know, I married him anyway? Like she did him a favor?
Yes,
Did I hear
that's
that?
Yeah, that's exact. I was sitting here listening to it, and yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah, she said that. Yeah, this
Mm-hmm.
is okay. Being married to Kurt is bad for her image.
Mm-hmm.
I gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I could sit here and say, well, you know, what everyone else says, you know, Shane, you know, has 1/4 of a liver left and 2 teeth in his head, you know, and for one... you could assume that Shane is a drunken retard and that you're simply using him because you think he has some sort of status or something, but then again, who am I to judge a relationship? You know, you could honestly love each other. Who the fuck am I to tell you that you know, Shane's retarded and you're a groupie? You know, is that my right to do that? You know, I really don't understand how you can assume that Kurt's such a fucking genius and he's so brilliant and everything else, and yet, you know, it's so simple as he married someone who's an opportunist. That's crazy. It's crazy. So these are just a couple of the things that we're going to do, on top of which... What was it you wanted me to tell you about the lawsuit, Kurt? What was it you wanted me to tell you about the lawsuit? So far, about 15 people that she's talked to are willing to interact. 15 people that you've talked to that Kurt's spoken with we're going to pay all the legal fees, of course, but they're all basically wanting to take you to court because you lied to them and said that this was an authorized biography. See, I mean, it didn't have to be like this. And it still doesn't. I mean, you know, the ad space has been purchased, so, you know, whatever. I don't know what you want to do. You know, what I want from you, since you've proven to be so insane, and I really don't think it's you, I think it's Brit, but what I want from you is some sort of approval or some sort of reassurance that you understand what you're doing and you understand how wrong it is, and you understand that, you know, maybe you're just frustrated because no one, you know, is giving you interviews that you want, or that you're having to get these interviews in such a low and illegal way. I don't want my name or my character dragged in the mud anymore, and based on things that aren't true, and based on things that have to do with women in the American music industry's jealousy of me, you know, nipping a hot young rock star in the bud when I suppose he's supposed to be out with Axl Rose, you know, fucking whores on divans and Casablanca settings and limos. I mean, you know, it's not my fault that you know, my husband just doesn't choose.
So that's where it cuts off. Now I'm going to play Kurt's voicemail. And before I play Kurt's, I want to also preface this too by saying that the journalist Victoria Clark did file a police report, and they did, you know, talk to Kurt about this, but no charges have ever been filed. Did I lose Jen? Oh, I lost you there for a second.
I pushed the wrong button. I pushed back instead of what I actually meant to push, because I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, yeah.
That recording reminded me of that Family Guy episode where they go out of town and Herbert calls and leaves those 1100 messages on the Griffin's answering machine. And at the last one, he goes, "You're really starting to piss me off. Call me." I sure wish I had some muscly on paper, boy. Got some chores I need doing.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell no.
It's like the last 2 or 3 minutes of the episode is just Herbert on the answering machine. You're really starting to piss me off. Call me. That's my
Jen. Oh,
Yes.
bless you. You are really. Whew. All right, here's Kurt's voicemail now that he left her. Did I share the audio? I don't remember. Probably. Oh, let me see.
No.
Let me know if you hear it. Can you hear it?
Yeah, babe, we can hear it.
Perfect.
Victoria and Brett, this is Kurt Cobain. Appreciate it if you called me at 883-1980. I have a lot of things to say to you. A lot of fucking things to say to you. You parasitic little fucking cunts. If anything comes out in this book, that hurts my wife, I'll fucking hurt you. I don't care if this is a recorded threat. I'm at the end of my ropes. You'll understand when you see me in person. Never been more fucking serious in my life. Come on, pick up the phone. Pick up the phone.
So Annalise says that she's also had
Interview of your life.
Kurt's Aunt Mary leave
Give me the
messages
interview of
too.
my life. Everything.
So it's clearly
The dirt, the details, everything you want.
her.
I love to be
Pressure.
fucked. I love to be blackmailed. Give you anything you want. I'm begging you.
You can hear Courtney feeding him the lines in the background.
Right? Like,
You have
you're not
absolutely no
slick.
fucking idea.
Sounds like a damn ass proof of life recording. Oh,
We'll
this is
find
messed up.
out.
Yeah, so this is from 1992, and this will also be released. Obviously, I'll put that in a different video, but just to give you an idea. But the point of this is to go through Courtney's history. So let's keep going with that.
This makes me miss the 90s when you could really slam the phone in somebody's ear instead of just ending the call angrily by pushing it. You know what I mean? I low-key kind of miss that. It's just not as effective as when you just hit the red button,
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't sting as much.
Yeah. So let's see. And then 1995, during a performance in Orlando, Florida, Courtney Love dove into the audience and punched two male friends, Ryan O'Donnell and Robert Lucas, in the face. So I have I was surprised to actually find this, but I did find some footage of that too. And you get to see Miss Courtney Love in court. So this is from that case. And let's just watch it. Let me just figure out.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's Veg Beauty says in psychoanalysis, there's a notion called unconditional positive regard where you're supposed to assess the person in the best light possible and not so listeners get concerned about the analyst's ego.
Okay. Yeah, so the unconditional positive regard where I'm supposed to assess a person the best, that would be the Rogerian approach. And, I appreciate your, knowledge. And if you choose to assess people using that approach, by all means. But the approach that I use in evaluation and assessment would be the scientific approach. And that's it. I can't measure unconditional positive regard, and there is none to be measured in this case. So I appreciate you pointing that out, but an effective evaluation just sticks to the facts. And this is forensic psychology. So unconditional positive regard type of stuff, we can talk about that in like treatment planning and treatment evaluation. But when we're talking about courts and legal stuff.
Proceedings.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's when we take all the fluff and puff out of there. So, July 1990. Oh yeah, no, I was looking for, now I get distracted. I was looking for the videos that I found because I think they're brilliant. Okay, here's number 1. So this is regarding the case where she punched.
How many parents know?
These people learned about today's alternative rock concerts as jurors when they served on a case involving singer-actress Courtney Love.
Do you think I'm talking about monogamy?
She's the star of the recent movie The People vs. Larry Flint, and lead singer of a band called Hole.
I thought maybe after the show I might try to get her autograph or get the band's autograph, but after what happened, I decided it probably wasn't a good idea.
19-year-old Rob Lucas saw Hole
hear it
in
okay?
March of 1995.
Yeah, babe, we can hear it.
Oh, perfect.
The concert was here at a club called The Edge in downtown Orlando. He's a big music fan and a veteran concert goer.
It's my ticket collection. Foo Fighters, Soul Asylum, Garbage, Chalk Farm, Tonic.
But Lucas says he'd never been to a show like this. This concert ended in a courtroom.
Today, in this courtroom, do you see the individual that struck you at the Edge concert? Could you please point out and describe what the person has on?
That's Courtney Love right there.
Rob Lucas and another teen said Courtney Love had punched them.
She announced to the crowd that she wasn't going to play until she saw more women in the front. When she jumped off the stage, she immediately walked forward and started punching some of the fans.
Ryan O'Donnell was in the front row too. He didn't know Rob Lucas, but he did have a similar story to tell.
She was first saying, "Get back," like this, and then next thing I knew is bared back. I just started getting hit.
O'Donnell was the first to complain to police, and after reading about those claims, Lucas says he and his family decided he should come forward too.
What she did was wrong, and we felt that this shouldn't just go, we shouldn't just let this go by. That this was something that she needed to know, that it wasn't okay to do this kind of thing.
To Orlando prosecutors, the boys' accusations were serious enough to seek criminal charges, 2 counts of battery that could mean up to 2 years in jail. And the boys' testimony wasn't all prosecutors had. They claimed this photo, published in a local paper, proves their case. The photographer is standing right behind Courtney Love. Here's her hair, and this is her arm, allegedly pulled back to punch this person, Ryan O'Donnell.
And what is that?
That is me, and that's her rearing back to punch me.
But Love's attorney argued there's no photo of Love actually hitting anyone, and no proof she had. He also suggested that maybe the boys hoped for money from a civil suit, and said it was the audience, not Love, that was a problem.
Isn't it true, Mr. Lucas?
Yeah, I mean, that's basically the same defense that she's using now. Oh, no, that's not me. Silva's obsessed with my ex-husband. No, girl.
Reaching over and hooting and hollering and grabbing for Courtney Love Cobain. Isn't that the truth of the matter?
The truth is, there were people who were grabbing at her. Yes, I was not one of them.
But the most important point Love's attorney made was also the most surprising. He argued that Love's concerts are so physical, even if she did hit her fans, it wasn't a crime at all.
They wanted this, they expected it, they hoped for it, and they got it.
To convict someone of battery, prosecutors have to prove not only that the contact happened, but also that it was something the victim didn't want. And Love's lawyer claimed the boys consented to being hit simply by showing up at her concert.
This is all part of this rock concert, the physical interaction of the performer and the audience. That's what these kids come there for.
Lucas agreed concerts can be rough, but says the physical part of a show shouldn't include being punched by the main act.
And you've been to how many concerts?
30, 40, something like that. 30 is probably an accurate number.
And this was the first time you saw the artist actually get down and punch the spectators, the audience?
Andy says he didn't go to this show expecting to be hit or hurt in any way.
I was just there to stay where I was and just observe the concert and to enjoy the music.
The case that began as a trial about whether a rock star hit two fans had turned into a question of concerts and safety. Where does participation in and battery begin? And what are you getting into when you walk through the doors of a concert?
Okay, that was part one, and here's part two.
It seemed like a simple case. A concert, rock star Courtney Love, and two fans who said she had hit them.
My initial thinking as a juror was, did she hit him or did she not hit him? It's not okay to hit.
But as the trial went on, it seemed the real issue for the jury would become whether hitting the boys was a crime at all.
We can't hit in our homes, we can't hit in our schools, we can't hit on our streets, and we shouldn't be able to hit in an entertainment establishment.
But what about the defense claim that at a certain kind of concert, like the Courtney Love show Rob Lucas and Ryan O'Donnell saw, hitting really is okay and something they should have expected?
This is what the audience comes for. They come for the experience. They come for the thrill. They come for the unexpected.
It was an argument that divided the jury.
It's not, to me, surprising that they would get hurt at a concert like that. But I just don't think they expected it to be her, Courtney Love, coming down and hitting them. But I think they did know what kind of concert they were going to.
I mean, we've all been in large crowds, but I certainly, when I went to see the Rolling Stones, I certainly didn't expect Mick Jagger to come down and hit me.
But the jurors never got to voice those opinions. Halfway through the trial, Courtney Love's attorney asked the judge to acquit her, claiming there wasn't enough evidence to convict. And in a rare move, the judge agreed.
It was uncontroverted that the victims were voluntarily in an area in which this uninvited physical contact was likely to occur and was expected to occur.
Courtney Love was vindicated, found not guilty of the charges Rob Lucas and Ryan O'Donnell had made against her.
This decision, I mean, if you think about it, what are they saying? I think it's saying that violence is permitted at these concerts. And I really don't think it should be saying that.
Courtney Love is still performing as a musician and an actress.
My safety.
You can still find him at concerts, but now he stays.
Yeah, so basically, as usual, she definitely got away with this. And then the next video that I'm going to play is also from a court appearance. And this video, I want to show you her demeanor in court. And I think that, you know, I've watched a lot of trials as a true crime junkie. Thank you very much. And how you behave in court says a lot about a person, in my opinion. And yeah, so without further ado, please do take the time to evaluate this short clip.
Are you the prosecutors?
No spectators allowed in the back row as well. What do you got here?
Can I be OJ and you can be Christopher Dard?
That was Courtney Love yesterday, but today, during opening statements, it was a different story. Courtney walked in smiling and waving at jurors. The alternative rock singer is accused of punching two concert-goers at a nightclub in Orlando. However, the defense witness says Love pushed the two men after they assaulted her. It's Courtney Love's back.
And the last one I want to play is also just for purposes of observing court demeanor, but another one that she got away with.
p.m. on that date, the defendant is ordered to appear. I've also been advised that the people would request a supplemental probation report. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, a supplemental probation report will be ordered.
What is that?
Has bail been posted in this case, or is she out on her own recognizance?
She's out on her own recognizance.
Okay, the defendant may remain OR.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
What does that mean? Probation. The same report that we did last. It's the same thing. He's going to talk about probation. Take care of probation.
Thanks.
I mean, who the fuck walks around court like that? What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Sorry for cussing.
She was upset about probation. Why is
she has a bouquet of flowers in the fucking courtroom. Hold on. This morning I watched. Hold on. Let me get settled. This morning I watched a Zoom court proceeding wherein one of the defendants got, well, he was in jail. This was I think this was a preliminary hearing, or I don't know what the hell it was. But he got a little upset, at the charges as the judge was reading them. He started actually he was holding a cigarette because it was a Zoom meeting. He was out on bond. That's right. Because they have people Zoom in from their house, and you see all kinds of people. You see all
they
kinds
have a whole stream dedicated to I can't remember what county it is in Florida. I think it's Polk County.
Oh my God, stop it.
I'm not lying. They show up for their first appearance.
And let me tell you, yes, the first appearance. Let me tell you, man. If it wasn't for these Zoom live stream court proceedings, this COVID lockdown situation would have been a lot different for me, because I'm telling you, that was some good entertainment. And it was also very, very educational. So if somebody needs to know what happens at a preliminary hearing, Watts Island, I'm looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
You need to holla at your girl. But just this morning, I was watching a court proceeding where this guy put a cigarette in his hand and started waving his arms around a little bit, too animated. And the judge muted his ass and told him, get that cigarette out of your hands and sit down.
Yeah, you're supposed to, they tell you when you're gonna do the Zooms or whatever, the Zooms. Oh my God.
The Zooms.
You know what? The Zooms. I said it. That's what I said.
I like it. The Zooms.
I said what I said. But they do tell you, you have to treat it just as if you were in the actual courtroom. You have to, your demeanor has to be appropriate. You can't,
right. There's
you can't show up with a cigarette hanging out of your mouth. You just can't, you can't act a fool.
She's got a purse with some sort of freaking bottles inside, I'm sure, Well, but then again, this was back in the 90s. Jen, what are you mixing over there?
I'm carrying my drink while I go outside.
Girl, it's loud.
I can't help it. I'm sorry. I thought I pushed mute. Let me mute.
Ooh.
I said I was sorry. Give me a negative Yelp review.
No, let's just finish this hot ass mess. Hold on.
All right.
I got more shit to cover, so let's just get it over with.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Court is in recess.
Thank you, Your Honor. Courtney Love, is it true that Courtney? No. In 1993, did you offer Eldon Hoke $50,000 to murder your husband, Kurt Cobain?
Oh God, you Richard Lee, you suck so bad.
Courtney, according to eminent polygraph examiner Edward I. Gelb,
oh God,
Eldon
you
Hoke,
so need to go away.
Earl Duce passed
I'm getting in the car now.
with the highest degree of truthfulness. According to the leading polygraph examiner in the world.
She never denied it.
No, it's a weird thing. Like, how dare you bring that up?
She never denied it.
It's like the time I was watching Seeking
Chase
Sister Wife, and
Chase Hughes call that?
What? What?
What does Chase Hughes call that when they don't deny it? That's an
Admittance
embedded
through absence of denial is what Detective Durham calls it.
Yeah, absence of denial. Hey, look, it worked. This is happening at the same time as the West Memphis 3 trial.
It was,
right?
yep.
So if it worked in
admission
West
through
Memphis,
absence of denial.
if it worked in West Memphis, I reckon there's no statute of limitation on murder.
Oh my God.
Where's Gitchell? We need Gitchell.
How strong's this case, Inspector Gitchell? 11.
Gitchell.
11.
Get your ass over here, Gitchell.
You offered $50,000.
Can I just finish the statement for Richard Lee? God bless him.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you offered El Duce $50,000, but you know what? A couple of days after Kurt's death, Courtney Love paid her nanny, Callie, $30,000 so that he can go to, quote, rehab.
Well, who's taking my picture now, boys?
So that was that. Let me get back to this history. Whew, girl. All right. So then in April 98, she attended a fashion show in Los Angeles and assaulted LA Weekly photographer Belissa Cohen. Courtney shouted, "Don't be taking pictures of me. Do you think I'm still not punk rock?" Then she yanked Cohen by the hair, kneed her in the groin, and slugged her in the face. When she was done, Courtney walked up to another reporter and said, "I just hit Belissa Cohen, and it felt so good." March 2004, during a live performance in New York City, Courtney struck 24-year-old Gregory Burde, I think is how you say it, in the head with a microphone stand, sending Burde to the hospital. He received several staples on his forehead, and guess what Courtney received? Nothing. April, just not even a month later, she broke into the home of music executive James Barber and attacked musician Kristen King, who was asleep on the couch. As Kristen got up to flee towards the front door, Courtney poured a bottle of whiskey on her, then tossed a lit candle at Kristen's back, presumably in an attempt to set Miss King on fire. Chasing Miss King onto the front lawn, Courtney beat her to the ground, where she dug her fingernails into King's arm and breasts, then pummeled King's face with both her fists and a metal flashlight, chipping one of Miss King's teeth, according to the police report. So
wow. So she's super punk rock, because that's, yeah. Punk rock is known for attacking your victim from behind, Courtney.
So Courtney Love, well, let's just go back to this incident, this extremely violent incident. What happened, you ask? Nothing. She got away with it. She got a little scurred there because, as you can see, 2004, this is by the way, not the complete list, so there's more, but just for the purposes of this live and the length of it and the amount of information, I try to keep it as condensed.
She's a whole OxyClean commercial. But wait, there's more.
Oh God! Look, I left the best for last. You do not want like oh God. It's just the cherry on top.
Okay.
And look, man, I'm telling you, I'm preparing this report for Silva. I'm going there in November. I'm putting all of the exhibits together. So let's do this. We're gonna have a mock trial in front of the court. All right, now I'm tripping.
That's the perfect job for you because you're always in charge of doing my exhibits. And let me just say, when you do the exhibits for me, you don't ever forget to share the audio or the stream. I'm very proud of you.
Oh, thank you. You know, probably because we're more organized because you do your streams and you're prepared. And I was supposed to have the clip already like put together, but as you know, Courtney Love is such a web of like rabbit holes that you can easily get lost. So it was difficult for me to really, you know, I've always been like the feedback from my professors that I would always get is that, you know, like, girl, you got the details down to a T, but try to keep it short. So, you know, sometimes your girls still struggle with that because, I mean, in this case, how do you decide, like, how do you leave out this woman trying to set people on fire on multiple occasions? Like, who
I don't think you really can.
Who has that on their resume, you know, like, oh, you know, just arson, animal torture, because she did, you know, torture her
Find women's breasts.
Yeah, like she should be on the sex offender list. I'm saying.
Hard.
Okay, let's keep going. So yes, she did try to set this person on fire, and one that isn't on here. Well, actually, no. Let me just keep my mouth shut because that's the part of keeping it concise. So, but wait, there's more. So you can expect more to come. Okay, so she also at the time this was before or I can't remember now, y'all. But she had turned herself in to LAPD. That's the same case. Duh. See, she had turned herself in and she was booked, processed, and released on $55,000 bail, according to Los Angeles Police Department. And she was on probation at the time of this extremely violent assault. She was on probation for other charges, including illegal possession of narcotics, disorderly conduct, and assault and battery. So she was already on probation, which, as someone, you know, again, let's go back to that forensic stuff, all that forensicing.
You do the forensicing and I'll do the comedying.
Oh my gosh. Ooh, the forensicing. So when you're on probation, you put people on probation who are low risk, who you as a judge, you weigh a lot of different factors and you decide the level of risk of this individual in the community versus, you know, putting them in jail. And a lot of times judges, you know, the point of the legal system is to be balanced. So we don't want to just lock people up for everything, which is what we do, obviously, and we have a problem with that. So we don't want to do that. That's why we have probation. We have different avenues. Mm-hmm. So at some point, this judge, you know, evaluated Courtney Love to be sound enough for probation. So, you know, she was out there probationing in the streets of New York and Los Angeles and motherfucking try to set people on fire, like smash, right? And then went back to court And the judge said, "What? All charges dismissed. Call me." Dismissed.
Oh my God.
Dismissed. If you need me to show the receipt, I shall put the receipt.
Please do. Oh, hey, while you're looking for the receipt, remember how we were talking about JT Leroy and that whole mess? Remember? With Billy Corrigan and all that? Guess who plays, I cannot remember what her character is, but she is in the JT Leroy movie with Laura Dern and Kristen Stewart.
I don't know.
Courtney.
Great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know.
Great news.
That might be another hole to go down later, but not today.
Not today, but here's the thing. Where the hell is it? Y'all, I don't even know. Oh yeah, the receipts. No, I don't need to show you that. You already know she got away with it. Okay. The stuff was dismissed and nothing happened. And I would argue that, setting people on fire would probably, fit a little statute of, attempted murder.
I mean, if at the very least, you would think she would get probation revocation.
Yes, thank you. That was where I was trying to go, girl.
At the very least. I'm pretty sure like one of the requirements of all people doing their probationing is to stay out of trouble. Like you can't catch new charges while you're probationing.
Yeah.
You got to walk the straight and narrow. You can't just be running amok, throwing whiskey and lit candles at people. I mean, you shouldn't be doing that anyways, right? But definitely not when you're probationing. That's a good way to get your probation revoked.
Oh God, I see Mama Bear telling people to be respectful.
What happened?
I don't know. It's okay. Let's keep going. So,
all right.
So she was probationing and committed several few felonies here and there, and was allowed to continue probationing. And that's that. But then, remember before when I told you to remember the wiretapping stuff?
Yes.
So when Lutfi, said we've been recording your phones, that sounds like something. Oh, like in court, you could argue like, yeah, he made that up, like, blah, 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 blah. Because Lutfi, by the way, did admit to all of those recordings that they were authentic, and he said that he was, quote, angry and like. Seriously, Scott, you need to come pick this guy up.
Come get him. Come get your friend. Come get this fool.
So after, so he admitted to. So, I'm assuming the defense is going to be, that's, it's not substantiated, blah, blah, blah. But then, you say, oh, objection. Let me show you how. Let me introduce you to my little friend, Mr. Pelicano. And Mr. Pelicano is a Hollywood fixer.
Oh.
I'm pulling up the article. Okay. So this Pelicano guy is this old school 90s private investigator who somehow hold on, I'm trying to pull this up. Okay. Who somehow became, like a big Hollywood private investigator after he rose to fame because of who did he help out? He helped a Hollywood person out in her divorce case or whatever. Anyway, not important. You should look him up. It's a really interesting case, like very interesting case. This guy went to federal prison for 15, 16 years for illegal wiretapping and a slew of other charges. I think they were like over 60 charges that that he did federal time for. And he was like in the heart of all this, like secret recorded phone calls. These celebrities would hire him to like wiretap their spouses and get to blackmail them. And
what?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Rich people problems, man. It couldn't be me.
So he's look, private investigator, right?
Right.
Remember homie over here?
Yes.
Our homie, this dude.
Our homie, this dude. Wow.
So he's a private investigator and he advertises his services to help women. What did other complaint say? In the other complaint, it says that he talks about how to divorce your husband and get everything or whatever. And basically he's coaching women on how to set up and, manufacture a case that would be favorable to them in a proceeding. So that's basically what this Pelicano dude does. Okay. And it's interesting. It's interesting to me too that, remember, just before we entered into the year of COVID. See, this probably is what started COVID too. Damn it. Oh, okay. So they dropped him. So he requested to take him off. So I wonder, what, like, come on, you saw what you saw, Dalia DiPolito, and it wouldn't surprise me that they're still pressuring and intimidating Silva behind the scenes. Like, look at these people. They have no boundaries, moral, ethical, or otherwise. They're drunk on power. Everything is a business deal. Everything has a price, and everyone knows someone. So Courtney not only is well versed in these criminal enterprises that obviously are not uncommon in Hollywood, because again, I'm telling you guys, you're gonna have to look into this Pelicano guy. I might also do a little bit more on him because this is fascinating stuff. He was at one point even the private investigator for Nixon and was involved in the Watergate stuff too. Like, it's crazy.
Oh, wow.
So, so he, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, it's not uncommon, right? So,
right.
So to me, I was like, what the hell is this? Like, it didn't feel real, but yeah, I mean, apparently it is. Maybe I'm like peasant for lack of a better term, because to me this is like, is this seriously America? Like, you can actually, you really can, there's a price. You can buy justice, basically.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, my computer just went to night mode. Wow. So, in the trial of Pelicano, obviously the FBI seized hundreds upon hundreds of hours of video, recorded like conversations between people. And what do you know? Guess who is among his list of clientele?
Is it Courtney Love?
How did you know?
Because I'm a friggin' genius.
Yeah.
I'm
all
the
right.
Smartest woman alive.
Yeah. So if you think that that's, completely outrageous, and, that this excerpt that I have here is from the actual, because you can actually, guys, if you ever want to put yourself to sleep, you need to download. Actually, I can upload it, or I'll link it in the video afterwards. Pelicano's 62-page indictment, his federal indictment, if you want to read some juicy Hollywood gossip.
Yeah, because the feds don't play. They will write everything. Everything you ever did, ever. In your whole life. All of it. All the I's, all the T's, all the things.
So that was quite the read. So I, again, practiced my keep it focused and only snatched the actual transcript of what was said. So while we feast our eyes on this, I'm going to play that clip for you because, I come prepared. Let me just find the tab.
This is the story of our life. Let us look through our photos. This was 1,000 years ago. Come on.
I need to ask Michelle.
Yeah, definitely don't ask Jen. She don't know.
Okay, what did I say? His name is Pelicano. That's
yes.
Right. There you are. I need everything from. Ooh, stop it. Now I need to go back and share the damn audio. See, if I had a video prepared, then this wouldn't be happening. That's why we're going to be doing.
This way's funnier, though.
It is. I love it.
I think people like it better this way.
Oh, yeah. Well, I do too. But then, there's always people that are like down to business. So,
yes. Oh, my God. The cats are on a rampage. Hold on.
Oh, my God. It sounds like a stampede. I'm sorry. Let me just play this clip.
They just don't know how to act right.
Ooh, that sounded like you were in Madrid during, the bull ordeal.
The running of the bulls.
Yes.
It wasn't even the cats. It's Nestor. He's dreaming with his feet up against the closet doors because they're those bifold ones, and he just shakes it. And he will only lay this way, and he's like dead to the world. I can't even wake him up right now. Just play your thing. So sorry.
So funny. All right, here we go, guys. Seriously, this is the tape that was recovered by the FBI, part of it, where, Courtney Love is enlisting the services of Mr. Pelicano himself.
I need everything from refinement to baseball bats, and I need them all under one roof. And so what Gavin doesn't offer, and what Jack doesn't offer, and what I think you might offer, is that when I have a problem of any stripe, A to Z, I can go to you. And that's what I need. And
Courtney, if you come to me, that's the end of that. I'm an old-style Sicilian. I only go one way. My clients are my family, and that's it. You with my family, you with me, and that's the end of it.
Right.
There is no other way around it. I'm very heavy-handed, honey.
I need heavy-handed, baby.
Yeah. I rest my case.
So basically what? You mess with the bull, you get the horns. I mean, I'm old school Sicilian.
Yeah. So, so I rest my case with that for tonight. Anyways, I think that's enough information to devour for one night with Courtney Love. No wonder that Trent Reznor never wanted to.
Okay, now I just have to say something. Now here's the deal. Like Trent Reznor, he's actually a really intelligent and intellectual guy. And if she was too much for him, right? Because he's, it is what it is. That's
she
saying
stalked
something.
She stalked Trent Reznor as well, by the way. So when I talked to Tom Grant over the phone, I did ask about that because I asked him, once you came out to her and you told her that you basically think she was involved with, her husband's death, And even he said, he expected her to be angry with him, but he wasn't, or she wasn't. As a matter of fact, she hired him for different assignments. So I asked him because, I'm also simultaneously completely like shutting this shit down with my next bigger kind of project that I'm working on. It's already, like, I already named it. It's called The Wrath of Courtney.
Oh,
And that's where I'm gonna really dive into the whole Epstein connection, because there is so fucking much. And I'm sorry for cussing, but I really need to emphasize this, because there's dead people and shit. And it's like insane. I mean, okay, so grounding myself, because I just got really bad juju energy.
Yeah.
So yes, so Tom Grant, so yeah, I wanted to know, like, what the hell, like, was she? And of course, she tried to push Tom Grant into a Pelicano role, where she wanted Tom Grant to stalk Trent Reznor, basically, because she was obsessed with him. So yeah, so when he would, report back from his assignments, and like, she wouldn't, I don't know, like, she was crazy that this was a thing that I was gonna not talk about, because I need to get the details straight. But bottom line is, she ended up breaking into the dude's house, completely, like, vandalizing it, and proceeding to take her feminine product outside of her body, and smear it on this person's property and furniture and walls. So this is the level of the deranged and dangerous that I believe we are dealing with, and it's clear by her history. So there's no mental illness that can compensate and justify for criminal behavior. There's not a mental illness that says, in the DSM, that says hires people to kill people, whatever. Like, there's a line between mental illness and criminal behavior. And she's been in treatment homes and group homes and juvenile halls. Like, her childhood is actually pretty tragic.
Yeah, it is.
Which I also think is very relevant, because, again, this is part of the Wrath of Courtney, but it's relevant because she's gone through a lot, and it's been a traumatic childhood. That means that the quote unquote here's the unconditional positive regard, that the other person wanted, but that's like, the injury was very early on in her childhood. And the earlier the injury, like the attachment injury, kind of, but that's like the earliest years, your earliest months and years of your childhood. That's when you basically develop your blueprint on how you're gonna engage with your world as you get older. And as you get older and you go through the rest of the stages of life, the cycle of life, you gain more experiences, and you get challenged to change some of those views, and sometimes you don't, and so on and so forth. So for her, the earlier the injury, the harder it is for, like, empathy to develop, because the type of injury that she endured, I believe, is abandonment. Like, complete abandonment. Like, nobody owned her, and in order to survive, you turn into a bubble, and you go through life pretending. her whole entire life, she's done nothing but pretended to be something that she desperately is trying to make us see her as, like this Buddhist who's in tune with Mother Earth. But her deviance just like seeps through her, and she says it's the punk rock thing. But no, you're dangerous, you're deranged, you're incapable of feeling compassion and empathy. You're empty.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
like if you've listened to some interviews that she gives, and when she talks about like her struggle, it's the way she views it is like she always had to claw and scratch to get anything and everything that she has, or anything and everything that she ever wanted. But that doesn't mean then when you make it, you don't go from hiding in the bushes yourself to hiring people to hide in the bushes for you. You know what I mean? Like, there's part of me that feels bad for the little girl that Courtney was. But I also think that the older, you know, at some point you have to be accountable for the choices and the decisions that you make, you know?
That's the thing. I do want to emphasize that. 1 second, I'm gonna just pull something up really quick.
Okay.
So that I can demonstrate. You know, I like my show and tells.
I know you do.
But I do want to address what's up there. Just give me a second. Yeah, this is turning into. So yeah, I'm not gonna have the show and tell because again, keep it simple, right?
Right.
So that I'm not saying that trauma, that early childhood trauma equals psychopathy. You know, I'm not saying that that's like a definitive thing. I'm saying that it's on a spectrum. So yes, you know, on one end of the spectrum, depending on, you know, nature, nurture, depending on a lot of different factors, you could become a psychopath. You know, you could be predisposed with that. I'm predisposed with that. Actually, let me tell you a funny story. So part of my training and education, you know, I took several years of psychological assessment, and that's when you literally like learn personality and intelligence, cognitive stuff, like inside and out in terms of testing. And so when you test someone's personality, you know, there's different factors that you look into. It's not just one thing. And that's why I don't like when people throw around the word narcissist, because it really, what do you call it? Minimizes it, because it's not, narcissism is not common, you know,
Right.
and it's not just to be thrown around anyways. But so there's a lot of different components that go into someone's personality, obviously. So one of the assignments as we were doing this testing was, of course, you know, practicing on each other, on volunteers, and on ourselves. So one of the major personality instruments that are used in courts all over, you've probably heard of it as well, is MMPI-2, and or MMPI in general, but currently there's multiple versions, but the MMPI. So that's a you know, golden standard everywhere, and it's been well researched. It meets, you know, the legal standards, and there's profiles, and you can glean something from those. So that's, you know, we basically did it on ourselves, right? So when I went into this, I was like, this is awesome, right? So I get to do this psychological test on myself, you know, so
Such a weirdo. I would be deathly afraid of it. Like, can you imagine if somebody did it to me and those answers got out?
Why do you think I'm so like, nah, you know? Because
like, I'm aware. I know what goes up. I know what goes on in this brain of mine. I'm aware.
You can't tell me anything that I already haven't, you know. So I know what kind of messed up I'm dealing with. So I'm just cool. I embrace it. But yeah, so I did the MMPI on myself. And yeah, like scoring it, I was like, oh God, like this is a moment of truth. Now you get to learn what kind of crazy you really are. Now, and it's like, what if, and I was thinking like, what if like I'm just, just having all these weird, like my imagination was going crazy. And I get the results, and without going like too deep into it, but basically, I basically got a profile of a psychopath.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing about psychopaths,
wait,
though.
there's more.
They're successful, and
There's
they're
more.
like they can be CEOs and stuff like that. So
hold on, girl.
All right, if you
There's
could
more.
just close all your 11 billion tags, you could conquer the whole motherfucking world.
So I, took my professor aside. Now, this is, mind you, this is like very early on in the course, right? I didn't know all the things yet.
Right. So now you're panicking.
So now I'm panicking, right? So now it's like, oh shit, like I'm a narcissist, like.
I'd probably laugh. That's how messed up I am. If I got that, I'd be like, if I got a result that said psychopath, I'd be like, I knew it. I'd probably make a welcome mat out of it and be like, don't come over.
So, sorry. So, I put my professor to the side and I'm like, do you kind of like have to kick me out if some of these results are not, like what can I just say I was acting?
And I just say I was playing around and just to see what I'd answered it like 37 different ways. This is one of the results.
Let me tell you, this is exactly the reason why I kill it in assessment. I am so good with the with all the tests and all that stuff. Like I love that. I live for that stuff. It's just so fascinating to me. Anyways, so yeah, I was like, do you kind of like have to, intervene? And he's like, let me see that. And he kind of like took it out of my hand. And he's looking at because they have the validity scales, which basically that's the fascinating part with all these maths and statistics, quote, science. They figure out, your consistency in your answering and all other kinds of stuff, and tells you, whether or not it's a valid profile, like whether or not they're exaggerating, telling the truth, or, just something's not right. So you can't use the results to make any conclusions. So typically that happens with people who, either like don't read the questions, just respond, randomly or whatever. Like it can be for various reasons. Right. So he looked at those scales and he goes, no, this looks valid, looks good.
Or in Jen's case, wandered off and went somewhere else inside of her brain for a while because she got bored taking this test.
I was
that
focused.
Would be me. That would be me. I just start answering.
Look, the first question was like, do you like magazines about automobiles or some shit? And I was like, nope, false. Next, this is easy.
Right.
But anyway, so he was like, another one. I was like, what you mean another one? He was like, actually, you'd be surprised. A lot of psychologists do have like the scale number on the MMPI is number 4, if you want to look at it. It's scale 4. It's called psychopathic deviance. Hey, it's just a dramatic name. It really just means you didn't like school and you sometimes skipped and you are a little bit antisocial, what I mean? Got arrested a few times. No. Just living you're living your best life and learning from it. And
your mission statement is I do what I want.
I know my rights. But he was like, but see, now you're focusing on just that one number. But he was like, that's the importance of us. Like he taught me some shit, man. I'm telling you, this was deep. And then he did the whole when you look at this number and then you take the little look, and he did the whole thing. And he was like, what do you see now? And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm a boss. I'm a survivor.
Yes.
Like that just means like I got some, notches on my belt, but look at me. Like I'm standing. I'm not setting people on fire.
Right.
Even though I've had a traumatic childhood as well, as many of you may or may not know. But yeah, like I grew up in a war. So as a matter of fact, I'm from Bosnia, and as a matter of fact, during the war, Nirvana, Chris Novoselic, has roots in Croatia, so they were doing a lot of charity, and they even visited, I think, Croatia and Bosnia. So, look, I feel it a duty to spread the word and get this case looked at. So I don't know.
Yes.
That's just my sentimental stuff. But yeah, now I completely ran the train off tracks, and I think
I don't even know if we're on a train or if we're in a
not.
boat or a plane.
I'll just stop yapping now.
I don't know where we're going, where we've been, where we are.
That means it's time for me to mute and get a drink, girl. 'Cause
Oh my gosh. When I was a kid, my teachers wanted to put me, I hope you're still listening, even if you're muted, just because I want to know what your take
I'm
is on
here.
this.
I'm
Okay.
here.
So when I was a kid, they wanted to move me up into like gifted and talented, right? So they sent me for an IQ test. And my mom told me this story because I don't really remember all the questions and the answers, but one is that I do remember. And they showed me a picture of a flower, and they asked me if it was alive or dead. And you know me, I can't just give a one-word answer. My kid calls it, Mom gives Miss America answers. So I said to the lady, I said, well, a flower is alive. A picture of a flower is not alive. And she just looked at me, which then I started to freak out because then I was like, oh God, are they going to like lock, what has happened here? Crap, I was honest. See, this is why you don't tell the truth.
Ooh, all right.
Needless to say, I qualified for gifted and talented, but this is what the psychologist or psychiatrist, I don't know, whoever gave me the test, her analysis was that putting me with kids older than I am would be not good for me because I would probably influence them more than they influenced me.
I can see that happening. Easy.
So just leave me with the kids that are my own age and let me corrupt them. Not that don't skip me ahead of generation.
Well, someone asked, antisocial personality is when people steal or end up in jail. I mean, typically, yes, it's not like I said, going to jail is not a mental illness. But typically, individuals who have antisocial personality disorder don't have any regard for the rules, so they find themselves in a legal pickle more often than someone who's not diagnosed with antisocial. So yes, it is, a
But
risk
sometimes
factor.
the people that don't have regard for the rules, like this person that's speaking right now, it's not that I don't have regard. I recognize the rules, right? It's just some rules are stupid and need to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
And those people.
Yeah. But that's the thing. So see, that's the thing. Like that's the part about labels. So, and again, don't confuse the MMPI with a diagnostic tool. Just because someone has an MMPI done in and of itself, it gives you a lot of information, but it doesn't mean that you have a psychological disorder. So, don't be running around talking about, oh my God, Dr. B is a psychopath. Because I could already see that. Like,
but that wasn't even the right thing. Anyways, you had a little psychopathic deviance.
Yes. And just so we're clear, the questions that make up that scale, ask you about, have you ever been suspended from school? Like, okay, sure. Have you, like, about antisocial traits, basically. Like, do you sometimes rather like trust in yourself than other people? Like, you know, do you sometimes feel like people want to screw you over? And it's like, yeah, man,
Yes.
I do. Like, you know,
Some people are stupid. Why would I listen to them?
you know, and sometimes like there's another question, like, do you feel like sometimes it's a dog eat dog world? And it's like, yeah, man, sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it bees like that.
Right. So then they're like, oh man, you a psychopathic deviant, man.
Mhm.
Hold on. Let me play that clip. Now I'm in the zone. Woo.
I mean, look.
Hey, my partner, he want to see that product. When he talking? My name is Jeff. It's Jefe, man.
Okay, sorry, I had to play that.
Starting to piss me off. Call me. I mean, everybody has those feelings sometimes. You know? Sometimes I'm the funniest person I know. Okay? So I spend quite a bit of time entertaining myself. I prefer to think that keeping people at bay is less about being antisocial and more about being discerning. Not everybody is fit to run with me. Okay?
Mhm. See, I think, okay, Molly Jones says, I thought Courtney was warning others about Weinstein. Yeah, I'm sure she was. You know, I'm sure that's what she's saying. But that's absolutely not, I mean, I'm not going to get into this now. That's a whole other episode.
Yeah, that's
but
another episode.
So to end it tonight, this is what I'm going to play. I'm going to play a clip of Nirvana when they were in Slovenia, in Ljubljana.
Ooh.
And this is during the war in Bosnia. So with this, I'm going to play that, and I'm going to say goodnight. Thank you all for being here. Drop me your questions in the comments or email me at truepsychward@pm.me. And yeah, just stay tuned for the condensed version. I don't know. Am I forgetting something? It's been a long day.
I don't feel like. Why are you asking me?
Yeah, no, I think we're good. So enjoy this video, guys. Thank you so much for being here with us, and thank you for being respectful in chat.
Thank you,
Mods,
everybody.
I love you. Thank you, Jen. Thank you.
You're always welcome. Thanks for having me.
Good night.
Good night.
Novoselic has been instrumental in getting Nirvana to raise awareness about the situation in the parts of former Yugoslavia which have been at war. He has written about the atrocities in his family's homeland of Croatia, the death camps in Bosnia, and the ritual rape of women.
It's really shocking, and there's so many horrible aspects of what happened and what people have done to each other, and I think that's a aspect of it that a lot of people have ignored. Like, rape wasn't even considered a war crime. Like, even in Nuremberg, nobody was tried for rape. So, you know, and I was hearing stories in refugee camps how, you know, women rape victims were just kind of lumped in with everybody else, and they weren't really having any special needs. And I think that's just an indicator of people's perspective towards women.
Funding organisations which help the female victims of the conflict has become a priority for Nirvana.
The band has an organization, it's kind of my pet thing, it's called the Balkan Women's Aid Fund, and we do is like solicit foundations for grants and ask people for individual donations too. And we did some work with the Italian Red Cross, and we got some money to the Autonomous Women's House working out of Zagreb. So, you know, and all these organizations that we work with, they have like a feminist perspective, and we think that's important because you get those kind of values across, you change people's values overall.
Novoselic is critical of how the media has shaped public perception of the Bosnian conflict, but feels uncomfortable in his role as spokesperson on the issue.
See, the media needs a story, so they tend to make things dramatic through television and radio and the newsprint. You make like this, you can make a reality through like some kind of like collective consciousness about things, and people go for it, and that's dangerous. There's just so much information and disinformation out there. It's like, I might as well throw my 2 cents in.
Through his work with groups in the area, Chris Novoselic has come to simple but telling conclusions.
Like now that the political landscape and economic landscape of the West Europe has changed, countries like Slovenia are just part of Europe now. There's really no Iron Curtain or anything. People are the same wherever you go, really, basically. It's just people want to live a normal lifestyle without hassles.
And politics aside, playing live is what it's all about. And this is where Nirvana are making their Slovenian debut.
I like very much Nirvana, but I want peace in Croatia, in Bosnia, and that is important. The concert is good, but peace is all we want.
It was excellent, brilliant, more.